sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.
Okay, so you're here, which means you're the kind of person who likes to know what's actually going on, right? Not just the headlines, but like the actual details, you know?
Yeah, getting down to the nuts and bolts.
That's what we do here. And today we are taking a look at the disruptions that happened over on X, the platform formerly known as Twitter,
right.
Specifically looking at those multiple outages on March 10th, 2025.
Yeah, it was quite a day. Probably caused a lot of people some problems with their, the usual digital flow of information.
Totally.
We've got some reporting here from Tom's Guide.
Yeah, let's dive into Tom's Guide.
Our goal is to sort of break down the timeline here.
Yeah.
Figure out what happened, or at least like explore the explanations that have been put forward and what it might tell us about the way things are.
Yeah, so let's start with the timeline, because it wasn't just like one moment of, oh, X is down, was it? Like there were multiple kind of waves of this happening throughout the day.
Yeah, there were a few different outages. The first one was very brief.
Yeah.
Resolved relatively quickly. But then the second outage started around 7 a.m. Pacific time, 10 a.m. Eastern time.
Okay.
And that's when Down Detector really started lighting up. Over 40,000 reports coming in.
Oh, wow. So 40,000 people, like suddenly their feed's not loading?
Yeah.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah. And then that wasn't even the end of it. A third outage followed the second, and this one was the most persistent. It went on for several hours, and there were around 35,000 reports initially.
Gotcha.
But it wasn't a consistent drop. It went up and down a little bit.
Oh, so like it would come back and then go down again, almost like a bad Wi-Fi signal?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then during that third outage, Down Detector recorded a peak of 29,143 reports.
Oh, wow.
At one point.
Gotcha.
And then even as of the last update that Tom's Guide provided, there were still around 2,000 reports, meaning that the issue hadn't been fully resolved.
So you still have thousands of people unable to use this platform. I mean, when a platform that big goes down that many times, everybody wants to know, well, what happened?
Right.
And in this case, we got an answer pretty quickly from the owner.
Yeah, we did. Elon Musk tweeted out that it was a massive cyber attack.
He didn't mince words, did he?
No, he didn't.
Cyber attack. Massive. Okay, and did he just leave it at that, or did he give any more information?
He did, actually. He later on went on Fox Business for an interview and said that the cyber attack was originating from IP addresses in the Ukraine area.
Okay, so he named a specific place where this was coming from.
He did.
But did he give any evidence?
He did not provide any further details about, how he knew that or evidence to support it.
Okay.
And he also speculated that they're trying to silence him and the platform.
Okay, so he even gave a theory about why this is happening.
Right.
Interesting. Okay, so that's what he's saying. But what about the company X themselves? Like any official communication or any alternative theories out there?
It's interesting. Aside from the tweet and the Fox Business interview, there wasn't much official communication coming from X. The article even pointed out that the acting CEO, Linda Yaccarino, was mostly just retweeting Elon Musk's posts about other things.
Okay, so like radio silence from the company itself.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, this is going on. Okay, so what about those other theories? Did the article mention anything?
Yeah. There was one report that started circulating, although it came from some less reputable sources, and it also cited a Telegram post,
Okay.
which said that a pro-Palestinian hacking group called Dark Storm had taken credit for a DDoS attack.
Oh, a DDoS attack. So for people who don't know, that's a distributed denial of service attack.
That's right, yeah.
It's basically where they're flooding the servers with traffic from like a million different places.
Exactly.
And that's what takes it down.
Yeah, and basically makes the platform unavailable to regular users. But the article goes on to say that this claim is more likely misinformation than fact.
Oh, so this is more like take this with a grain of salt?
Right.
It's not really confirmed.
Exactly.
Okay, and the article also brings up a really good point. Even if we did want to say like, okay, it came from Ukraine, IP addresses can be missed.
Absolutely. That's one of the tricky things about cyber attacks.
Yeah.
It's so easy to mask your IP address and make it look like it's coming from somewhere else.
Yeah, so it's hard to tell where it's really coming from, and so it's hard to say with any certainty, who's doing it,
Right.
what their motivations are. Right.
Exactly.
Fascinating. Okay, so we've got the guy at the top saying one thing.
Yeah.
We've got some maybe not so credible sources saying something else.
Right.
And the company itself is saying nothing.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right, so what about the users? I mean, hundreds of thousands of people, I would imagine, are pretty frustrated, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just based on the number of Down Detector reports, we're talking over 350,000
Yeah.
by mid-afternoon Eastern time.
Wow.
That's a huge number of people who can't use the platform.
Yeah.
And what's interesting is that they actually ended up turning the comments section of Down Detector into sort of like a temporary social media platform.
Oh, really? So they're like commiserating with each other in the comments?
Yeah, exactly. They're going on there saying, is it down for you? Oh, yeah, same here.
Like, we're all in this together.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It shows you how much we need that connection.
It's like the digital water cooler.
Yeah.
Hey, is X down for you?
Yeah.
Okay. But obviously, it's more than just a temporary inconvenience because X has become a major platform for disseminating information.
Yes.
News, updates, opinions, all that stuff. So when it goes down like that, it's not just, oh, I can't, post my silly little meme. It's like, I can't get real information.
Right. It disrupts that flow of information. And people can be left feeling really disconnected and potentially uninformed about important things happening in the world.
Yeah. Okay. So, if X is going to be unreliable like this, people are going to be looking for alternatives.
They are.
And the article does mention some of the platforms that people are talking about.
It does. One of the ones it mentioned specifically is Bluesky.
Oh, yeah, Bluesky.
Which is interesting because it was founded by Jack Dorsey.
The former CEO of Twitter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And apparently that's one that a lot of people have flocked to since Elon Musk took over Twitter.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. What are some of the others they talked about?
They mentioned Threads, which is part of Instagram, so that's another big one. And then there's Co-Host and Counter Social. These are interesting because they're sort of seen as like the anti-Twitter. They're trying to do things differently.
Anti-Twitter. Okay.
And then lastly, there's Mastodon, which is interesting because it's decentralized.
Right.
So it's not controlled by one company.
Okay. So lots of options out there for people who are looking for something else.
Yeah, it's a really dynamic landscape right now.
Totally. Okay, now this is a little bit of a side note, but the article does mention how Tesla's stock also took a hit that day.
Yeah, it did. On March 10th, Tesla stock fell 11%.
11% in one day.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
And that brings it down to over 40% for the year.
Wow. Okay, did they say what caused that?
Well, they mentioned that a UBS analyst predicted that Tesla's deliveries are going to drop by 5% in 2025, which would be the second year in a row of negative growth.
Not good.
Yeah. And, investors don't like that.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, so rough day for Elon Musk all around.
Yeah, it seems like it.
All right, back to X. Did they talk about what they're doing to fix this problem?
Well, the article speculates that the engineers over at X are obviously working on it, especially since there were multiple outages throughout the day.
Yeah.
And they also mentioned that Tom's Guide reached out to X support for comment.
Oh, okay.
But they don't say whether or not they got a response.
So lots of reporting on this, but as of this article, no official explanation from X.
That's right. So to sum it up,
Yeah.
March 10th, 2025, X goes down multiple times. Elon Musk says it's a massive cyber attack. He even says it's coming from Ukraine. Yep. But no confirmation on that.
Yeah.
We have another group that maybe isn't so reliable, claiming responsibility.
Right.
Users are frustrated. They're finding other ways to connect.
Oh, right.
There's other platforms out there that they could be using. And, Tesla stock is also taking a hit. So, yeah, a lot going on. But ultimately, we don't really know for sure what caused these outages, according to Tom's Guide.
Yeah, it is fascinating, isn't it? It really makes you think about how much we rely on these platforms and what happens when they're not available. And what are the implications for the future when you have these kinds of events happening with no clear explanation about, is this the new normal? Is this something we're just going to have to deal with? It makes you wonder.
Yeah, it does.
And also makes you wonder about those alternative platforms. Are they going to be able to fill the gap?
Right.
And what about the information itself? If we're getting so much of our news and our updates through these platforms and they're unreliable,
Yeah.
where does that leave us? What do you think?
Yeah. I think it really raises some important questions about, the stability and the security of our information infrastructure.
It really does. It's something for all of us to think about. And I think that's a good place to wrap up for today. We'll be back soon to deep dive into another topic. Until then, stay curious and stay informed.
Stay informed.
Thanks for listening.
Sound the alarm. I'm coming up. We'll have a ball. I'm sweet like a buttercup. You're a Barbie doll. Show them all what I'm made of. Strut down the hall. Won't stop till I get enough.